Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and we start the day with a little bit of good news, in fact great news. Patrick Grady will no longer be an MP, or to put it in my tabloid voice, Sex-Pest MP Patrick Grady will no longer be an MP. He, I was going to say, failed the vetting process. He didn't even get to the vetting process for his constituency, and it looks like Alison Thewlis from next door will take over the seat. The seats are being sort of merged, amalgamated and changed at the new Boundary Commission's behest, and so she was left without a seat, but now it seems she hasn't. She's got one. She's going to get this one, or at least she's going to be the candidate in it. Whether she wins it or not, of course, is entirely up to the people. But there we are. Grady's gone. Grady will be no longer an MP because I can't see any other constituency rushing to offer him, a way back. He's going to be virtually unemployable. After all, who is going to want to go out there and employ a man who likes to touch and feel young men? He's an obnoxious wee shart, isn't he? One of my regular commenters down in the comments, Ting Tong, a couple of weeks ago, I think, described Patrick Grady, and I think in marvellous terms, as he's the cross between a potato and a thumb. And I just laughed at that. I thought that was absolutely excellent. But we will take a look at this to see why Sex-Pest MP Patrick Grady will no longer be representing anyone in Scotland, and that he can spend more time reminiscing about all the men he used to touch. Here goes. So, disgraced SNP MP Patrick Grady blocked from standing as MP despite campaigning in Rutherglen. Although nobody particularly asked him to turn up. He is poisonous, isn't he? He's toxic. You don't want that man anywhere near you or your children. The Sex-Pest Glasgow North MP will not be allowed to stand again in his constituency, as it's been reported that he did not even make it to the vetting process, leaving his seat open for Alison Thewlis to be parachuted in. And of course, yeah, it's a good thing. It's one of the few things where the SNP actually gets something right, but it's unusual because they normally have this predilection for forgiving and accepting people who like to become sexual offenders. They like that, especially if it's very young people. They're quite encompassing and warmingly welcome to them. Sex-Pest MP, tabloid voice, do that in tabloid voice. But anyway, Patrick Grady has been blocked from standing again at the next general election, signalling the death knell of his political career, and indeed all other careers. I can't see any employer making a beeline for his particular skill set. The Glasgow North representative had hoped to leverage the religious vote to keep his seat, but he's not been made it through to be considered a candidate. So what he's saying is because he's a sex pest, the religious lot are going to go for him. Seems odd. It's almost as though he's saying that the religious lot are a bit abusive towards young people. Make of that what you will. Why would the religious lot want him? It's weird. It's just weird that he thinks that way. The disgraced politician was suspended for 6 months by the party after inappropriately touching a 19-year-old male staffer. He does like them young, doesn't he? He was also banned from the House of Commons for 2 days for making unwanted sexual advances towards him. You see, there's another thing. The House of Commons banned him for 2 days for making unwanted sexual advances. What does that tell you about the House of Commons? Surely, doing something like that must be more serious. But anyway, despite the scandal, Mr. Grady had privately hoped to keep his seat as an MP, but this dream has come to a juddering halt. Good. Party sources told the Times that he was not eligible to stand when the vetting period concluded. They said he didn't even go through the vetting process. He wasn't allowed to, and he's out. And that's just great news, and it protects people who work in Parliament from the unwanted attentions of the creepy little man, and his touchy-feelingness. Fears have been raised that he would once again stand again for election, with the SNP urged not to allow him to do this, as it would be a slap in the face for his victim. He has spoken out against the Nationalist Party due to the lack of support they gave him. He's moaning that he commits a sex offence and that they won't support him. That is very telling about his views on the SNP. But then we all know what the P stands for. He was forced to quit his job due to this. The SNP MP added, there remains some sympathy for Patrick amongst colleagues. And that tells you more. There should be no sympathy. If they were decent, upright, normal human beings, there'd be no sympathy. But they're not, are they? They're all cast from the same mould. But the rules are the rules. His withdrawal from the selection process paves the way for neighbouring MP Alison Thewlis to be the candidate from the redrawn Glasgow North constituency. Here, Glasgow Central seat is being removed under boundary changes, will be put in place next year, and sees two constituencies disappear completely. She's the party's Home Affairs spokeswoman and one of the most prominent Westminster politicians, even going for leader before being defeated by Beryl. The SNP did jump. Oh yeah, this is Blackford again, isn't it? The SNP did jump to defend Mr Grady when he was pictured campaigning in Rutherglen and Hamilton West earlier this month, which drew an angered reaction from the Scottish Labour and his victim, and I covered that in a previous video. An SNP spokesman said, the process for next year's general election is currently underway and candidates will be informed in due course. Mr Grady was forced to apologise in the House of Commons after an independent investigation found he'd inappropriately touched and stroked the hair, neck and back of a 19-year-old teenager during a social event in a London pub in 2016. He likes to touch young men. And the party supported him in this. True. Watch. The party was blasted after Ian Blackford urged his colleagues to give as much support as possible to him on his return from suspension, rather than treating him what he is, a potential ara of young men. Potential, I say. Not actual. But still, a sex offender. A touchy-feely man. A creepy, creepy man. Leaked audio of this being handed to the Daily Mail, and it was seen as one of the triggers behind Mr Blackford's eventual ousting as the Westminster leader. Even other people had said, look, enough, stop supporting the nonces, leave the child abusers alone, stop supporting sex offenders, stop supporting those people who like to touch other people inappropriately. But Blackford can't help himself. More than a quarter of the 48 SNP MPs elected in 2019 are no longer standing next year, as the party faces the loss of more than 20 seats. 8 are stepping down, including Mary Black, Mr Blackford and Stuart Hosey. Angus MacNeil was suspended, Margaret Ferrier's fired, and if you think that's the last of them, you're very much mistaken. 2 have already defected to Alaba, but they're expected to lose their seats, so they're probably unimportant. The process to select new candidates is underway, as well as the reselection of incumbents, and that we are. But I wonder if those incumbents will be asked, do you support Patrick Grady? Do you think Mr Grady is a fine, upstanding fellow, and the fact that he likes to touch young men should be ignored for all the good work he's done? What a creep. What a horrible, oily insect he truly is. Anyway, I shall stop there, and I shall come up. So there we go, another one gone. This one is a right little shit and he won't be missed. They need to sort of clean out these stables, don't they? Because they're absolutely filled with shit. Well, the turds are being washed. And thankfully, hopefully, after the next election, there'll be fewer turds floating around the mire that is Westminster. But it's good to see this particular little thumb disappear. He is obnoxious. And the fact that the arrogance of the man, that he thinks he can do this to young men and get away with it and demand support from his own party, goes to show the mental view that these people have of the world. Their world view is that they have the right to do this and that the party should back them. And the trouble is, 9 times out of 10, the party does. The party always backs the perpetrator. Rarely supports the victim. So it's nice to see that he has gone. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see here on the channel, do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, if you see Patrick Grady in the street, call him a thumb. Bye.